Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. Welcome to Wicked Wednesday, where we discuss all the new comics that's coming out this week. Every Wednesday is like Christmas for us nerds because that's when the new comics come out. These are my recommendations for the best books to pick up on Wednesday. But here's some other information first. Don't forget to click the bell at the top of the page for alerts. This will notify you when I have a new video posted. I'm getting real close to 1,000 subscribers, so tell everybody you know about the channel so it can grow. Be sure to speak up in the comment section as well. I appreciate your feedback. Apologies in advance, but there will be some images that will be blurry in this video. I'm not happy about it. You're not going to be happy about it. Grumpy Cat's not happy about it, but I just don't have time to fix it. It's not the end of the world, but I have a very high standard for the channel, but it'll be okay. We'll get through it. So let's get into New Comic Day. And DC Comics is giving us Detective Comics number 986. Superman has to team up with Lex Luthor again. We're getting real close to issue 1000. It's just right around the corner. Issue 1000 of Action Comics is going to have more hype than the solar eclipse of August 21st. So have your wallet ready in early 2018. Next up is Batgirl number 14, and she teams up with Nightwing in this issue. This is part 1 of a new storyline called Summer of Lies. Next up is Batman Beyond number 11. This is the future Batman in the person of Terry McGinnis. This is the finale of the storyline called The Demon. Next up is The Flash number 29. This is part 2 of The Negative. The Flash is everything good about comics in 2017. It's a phenomenal series. Next up is Harley Quinn number 26, and the storyline of The Mean Streets continues. She shares the cover here with Poison Ivy and Catwoman. They're supposed to have a live-action movie starring these characters called Gotham City Sirens. Margot Robbie will reprise her role, but the other characters have not been cast officially yet. We'll see if it happens. Of course, the Frank Cho variants continue, and they always look outstanding. Shown here is some gratuitous Harley Quinn cosplay and artwork because I felt like it. Any objections? I didn't think so. Next up is Mother Panic number 10. I keep talking about this book. I think it's very underrated. It's about a female anti-hero vigilante working in Gotham City who's outside the Bat family. It has a cover B version shown here of what she looks like in her uniform. It's drawn by Santa Dakota, who's most famous for drawing Monstrous and was nominated for 3 Eisners this year for her work. Hopefully this will boost awareness and sales of this title, which is underrated. Next up is the Speculation Pick of the Week. And that's going to be Nightwing, The New Order, number 1 of a 6-part miniseries, and it's one of my favorite genres, Dystopian. It's a future world without weapons and superpowers have been eliminated or outlawed. Cover A looks like it's influenced by those Soviet-era propaganda posters. That's probably the look they went for intentionally. It gives you a real feel of what to expect going forward. In this miniseries, Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing, is the leader of a government task force called the Crusaders, whose orders are to hunt down the remaining supers. It has a cover B version as well that looks okay, but cover A is elite. I would go with that. Next up, let's see what Marvel is up to. And that's going to be Generations, Unworthy Thor, and Mighty Thor number 1. If you haven't been paying attention lately, the Mighty Thor is now the Unworthy Thor, and he can no longer hold a hammer. Jane Foster at this moment now holds the hammer. But all this was planned in advance. They're going to bring back the old Hulk, the old Iron Man, the old Wolverine, the old Thor, and spin off the new versions into their own title. They had the opportunity to use the brand name of the original character to help establish the new ones. Fans of the classic characters were none too happy, but I understand what Marvel was doing. They're expanding the franchises of these key core characters. Next up is Secret Empire, number 9 of a 10-part miniseries. I wasn't crazy about this crossover from the beginning, but it's actually getting better with age. They are continuing the action figure variants, showing all their key characters as Hydra agents. Iron Man gets the treatment here. Hail Hydra! And of course, there's another Jason Scott Campbell variant shown here. I'm not impressed with his work on this go-around, but it's just beating a dead horse at this point. All of his Secret Empire variants have been substandard to me. Next up is Darth Vader Volume 2, number 2, which is going to a second printing. Volume 1 of Darth Vader ended with issue number 25 at the end of 2016, so when they brought back Volume 2, I think a lot of people were surprised. They didn't know it was coming back, and retailers probably underordered it. Next up is Dr. Aphra Annual number 1. She made her first appearance in Darth Vader Volume 1, number 3. She even has her own Wookiee. She's sort of like a female Han Solo. I've been talking about this character non-stop since I started this channel, so you might as well get on board now. Next up is True Believers Kirby 100 Devil Dinosaur number 1. This is a $1 reprint of Devil Dinosaur #1 from 1978, the first appearance of Devil Dinosaur. In current continuity, he's in a team up with Moon Girl, a brilliant young girl with the Inhuman genome. Next up is True Believers, Kirby 100, the Inhumans #1. This is a reprint of Amazing Adventures #1 and 2 from 1970. Next up is True Believers, Kirby 100, Nick Fury #1. This is a reprint of Strange Tales issues 135 and 141 when Nick Fury is upgraded from war hero to Shagadelic spy as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. All of these True Believer reprints are just $1 and it's celebrating Jack Kirby's life. He would have been 100 years old this year. And these are all characters that he created or co-created. Seeing his work reprinted again for another generation is just fantastic. He's worthy of all the praise. Next up is The Edge of the Venomverse, and this is the finale in issue 5. As you can see on the cover, we're getting a Deadpool symbiote. At this point, I'm just exhausted. They've done this Venom symbiote on just about everybody. At this point, it's sort of like a parody of itself, like when Oprah gave everybody a car, but this time it's a symbiote. You get a symbiote, and you get a symbiote, and you get a symbiote. Yeah, we got to that point, haven't we? Seriously, I don't hate Marvel, but when something works, they just feed it to you till you're sick of it. It's just what they do. Next up is our report on independent comics and small publishers. First up is Mother Russia #2 from Alterna Comics. Female Russian warrior spy fighting against Nazi zombies in World War II. Sounds like a good idea to me. This is print on newsprint, so they're selling it for just $1.50. Next up is Hi-Fi Fight Club, #1 of a 4-part miniseries from Boom Studios. It's the story of an indie record store that's also a front for teen girl vigilantes who have their own secret fight club. It looks like a mashup of the movies Empire Records meets Fight Club. The creators of this comic already know this, they're aware of it, so they did an Empire Records variant as well, shown here. That's a pretty awesome variant. I'll pick this up just for this. Empire Records was a 1995 coming-of-age movie starring Liv Tyler, Renee Zellweger, and others. Next up is Lady Death Merciless Onslaught #1 from Coffin Comics. This is the type of horror series that Vincent Price would be proud of. It's well executed. Please note that the cover price is $8. Speaking of offbeat horror, there's Dollface #8 from Action Lab. It's the story of a 17th century witch hunter that's trapped in a life-size doll in the modern day. If you like strange horror, then this is for you. Next up is Black Hammer #12 from Dark Horse Comics. This is just one of what seems like 75 different titles that Jeff Lemire is writing. If you're late to this offbeat science fiction superhero drama, then you probably need to get a trade paperback to catch up on the earlier issues. I'm just catching up on this myself. Next up is Red Sonja #8 from Dynamite Entertainment. And that's probably the first time I ever saw her wearing pants. In this continuity, she's transferred from her world to our modern day world. This character is currently being written by a woman, Amy Chu, so in her hands, it's making her more of a well-rounded character. In the hands of men, she's been more exploited. I made a video called The Top 5 Most Inappropriate Costumes on Female Characters, and she won that. I'll put a link in the description so you can go back and watch it. In the hands of Amy Chu, she's Wonder Woman meets Conan is what she's supposed to be in the first place, instead of being some visual campy character like Bob Wire, which they turned her into. Unfairly, I might say. Next up is Donald and Mickey #1 from IDW Comics. The character of Mickey Mouse turns 90 years old next year and will always be an American and worldwide icon. Pick up every #1 issue of Mickey Mouse you can find. Next up is Heathen #5 from Vault Comics. This is one of the best breakout indie comics of the year. It's about a female Viking warrior who's seeking revenge on the god King Odin. It's written and drawn by a woman, Natasha Altarisa. She started this project on Kickstarter. I bet she had no idea it was going to be this successful. Next up, let's see what Valiant is up to. And they always deliver some top flight science fiction action, including War Mother #1, which is an ongoing series now. It's about a female warrior survivalist who's defending her tribe in the 41st century. You could compare the character in personality and tone to Furiosa from Mad Max. Now, of course, it comes with variants, plenty of variants like this Clayton Crane variant. That guy is so talented. It's closely tied to the developments in 4001 AD from 2016. The character Rai is the protector of 41st century Japan, and he's overthrowing the artificial intelligence called the Father. Yep, that guy right there, which rules Japan, which is floating in the sky above the earth. And Father jettisons parts of New Japan in the sky down to earth to try to save Japan from the rebellion, and some of that space junk floats down to earth and is fought over by people that still here. People such as War Mother. See how it ties together? Yep, you gotta love this. This is her first ongoing series, but it's not her first appearance. She made a one-shot appearance back in 2016, which is shown here. This should be a no-brainer pickup, and that's a David Mack watercolor cover, by the way. and it's beautiful. Next up is The Rapture #2, which is going to a second printing. This is a mini-series that features Ninjak, Shadowman, and Punk Mambo as they battle forces in a different dimension called the Dead Side. This is action horror sci-fi that's written by Matt Kent. That guy's brilliant. He's the creator of Divinity. Next up is Exo Manowar #6 and one of the most beautiful covers of 2017. This is also written by Matt Kent. It's the story of Exo Manowar on a new foreign planet in which breaks out into war, and he has to summon the armor one more time. As you can see, there's a trillion variants for this, and issue #6 is going to be the end of the general storyline. I advise you to go back and pick up Exo Manowar #1, the reboot, released back in March of 2017. Even if you know nothing about the character, everyone understands a good war story, and this is it. Next up, let's see what Image Comics is up to. It's a slow week for them, but they still got some good stuff. First up is Generation Gone #2, a sci-fi action tale that's written by Alice Cott. This writer isn't very easy to read. You either love their work or you hate it. Generation Gone #1 is also going to a second printing, so somebody liked it. Keep your eye on this because Image has done very well with science fiction projects. Next up is The Hard Place #1 of a 5-part miniseries. It's a story of a wheelman who's involved in bank robberies who's trying to go straight. But of course he gets recruited back into the game. It's not related to it, but it reminds me of the movie Baby Driver starring Ansel Elgort, Kevin Spacey, Jamie Foxx, and others. Cover A is drawn by Brian Stelfreeze. He's nominated for an Eisner. He's the primary artist on Black Panther. This is a crime tale that's worth picking up, and that cover is gorgeous. Next up is one of the weirdest books I ever saw in my life, and that's Plastic. This is issue #5 and the finale of this miniseries. It's the story of a retired serial killer that goes on a killing spree after his wife is kidnapped. His wife is a plastic blow-up doll, so that's very strange. Man, who writes this stuff? They need psychological counseling. And it just gets stranger with Shirtless Bear Fighter #3 of a 5-part miniseries. It's clearly a spoof on ultra-masculine characters like Wolverine. It's a story of a man that's raised by bears and gets betrayed by bears, so he's out for revenge. Shirtless Bear Fighter #1 was the pick of the week for June 21st, 2017. Issue #2 is also going to a second printing shown here. It's absolutely hilarious. This is laugh out loud material. Next up is Redneck #5. This is from Donnie Cates, who's on fire this year. He also wrote God Country and Baby Teeth. It's the story of a family in Texas that gets outed as being vampires. Redneck #1 was the pick of the week for April 19th, 2017. This series is incredible. You should be reading this definitely. Before I close, I'm just letting you know that I'm selling a Darth Vader #3 first print graded 9.6, which is the first appearance of Dr. Aphra. The auction starts at just 99 cents and it ends August 28th at 9:55 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll put a link in the description. You know the drill. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share these videos on social media so others learn about comic power. That's about it for today. Thank you for watching Wicked Wednesday, where I review all the new comic books for a new comic day. Be sure to follow my blog at comicpower.net. On social media, follow me at facebook.com/comicpower.net and comicpower-universe.tumblr.com. And don't forget twitter.com/comicpowersub. I also sell comics on eBay at this link. This is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye. And don't forget to share this video, click on subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and tell everyone you know about this channel to help it grow. Thank you for your support.